If you ever grew up in the 1900s, I mean 20s, 50s, I mean 60s, you know what, it doesn't matter. I've used this joke in the last video before. Point is, Tootsie Roll's been in every single person's life somehow. Maybe your mother had it, or maybe her mother had it, or maybe her mother had it. It doesn't matter, it's just in everyone's lives. We all might have had either Tootsie Pops, Tootsie Rolls, or Fruit Chews. But what if I told you back then, they had some of the most strangest attempts of Tootsie Roll products? From blocks of fudge to vitamin milk, these are the strange and discontinued Tootsie Roll products that ever existed. Also, disclaimer before I start the video, there is rarely any info about these candies, so I might not say that much about these, but there is only a few, so I'm just going to say what I was able to find. Maybe in a future video I could probably correct myself if I find anything new about it, so without further ado, let's begin. Something says that many of the people who are watching this video have bought an ice cream since it's the summer and it's really hot. What if I told you back then Tootsie Roll was able to get that Tootsie Roll taste and put it in an ice cream bar? Or, you know, those little ice cream things. I don't know why people are calling them bars, even though they look different. Point is, Tootsie Roll actually had little ice cream popsicles they made back around the 1950s and 1960s. And there's a lot of ads showing off them. But it's kind of interesting how at one point they experimented with ice cream, because around 2010, the popsicle company would make Tootsie Pop variants with chocolate inside of it. Have you ever wanted to have a Tootsie Pop, but you felt the need of not using a stick because it wasn't groovy for your generation, according from this ad?
What about us bigger kids?
Yeah. Yeah, baby, that stick is nowhere for my image.
Tootsie Pop Drops are your answer. They're basically Tootsie Pops with a stick. In a nutshell, these originated from around the 1970s and were quite popular, but for some reason they were sort of discontinued. When I mean sorta, I mean it's one of those cases where it depends on where you go to has them in stock. Some areas might, some areas don't, but whatever the case is, they still sell them. There even is a candy cane variant that does exist. I wonder how that tastes like. I'm assuming this is around the time of the 1970s because of the looks and also because I can hardly find any evidence about this. Caramel Tootsie Pops were another Tootsie Pop flavor. This, you know, of being caramel that would cover the Tootsie Roll center. And it kind of had that caramelish good taste. These are still sold nowadays, but it's one of those, well, you could buy a whole bag of them, but I won't guarantee you if they're gonna be the thing. But yeah, they still sell these, but at the same time, it's like they're one of those limited edition type of things. While also on the topic of Tootsie Pop flavors, apparently there is a pineapple flavor that does exist, or did exist at one point. I don't know if they still exist, but apparently, according to various sources, they're usually found in the tropical bunch of Tootsie Pops, which has a bunch of other flavors including tangerine and fruit punch. The thing that makes this strange is apparently, according from this only image I was able to find of this Tootsie Pop, it shares the same colors as the lemon wrapper. So, whether if it does exist or doesn't exist, I have genuinely no clue. But comment down below if this flavor actually does exist and what does it taste like? Well, I'm guessing it tastes like pineapple, but it might be different. Well, obviously you cannot complete caramel and chocolate without their sister vanilla. Basically, there's a vanilla Tootsie Pop that is somewhere out there in the world. They were made at one point for the 4th of July. Every now and then was like a certain theme, like Christmas or 4th of July. Tootsie Roll changes their wrappers, you know, to make it celebrate that holiday. So they're like a 4th of July bundle with just blue and red Tootsie Pops. But at one point they had white ones that were actually vanilla. So it's kind of interesting to see how this did exist. And my question is, why is it not around? I bet this one would have tasted good. Maybe it's a little too sweet.
Breathe in chocolate, breathe out mint. That's Tootsie Roll Minties.
Tootsie Roll Minties were basically mint-flavored Tootsie Rolls, as apparently they had a breathe in and out effect, where you breathe in chocolate and you breathe out mint when you eat them. And there's hardly anything I can find about this. They had Kukula, Fran, and Ollie appear as a special guest to talk about this. If you don't know who they are, Kukula, Fran, and Ollie are characters from a show that was made around the 1940s and 50s. There's a lot of history about them, but I won't really get into it for this video. All you need to know is that they're from that show, and they appeared as a special guest. So yeah, Tootsie Rolls made mint-flavored Tootsie Rolls at one point. So dating around the late 1910s to the 1930s, Tootsie Roll, believe it or not, actually had nuts in them. You know, for that chewy, nutty taste, which would sound not that bad, but at the same time would kind of remind me of something like toffee or peanut brittle. But it's kind of bizarre to see how they actually had nuts, because if you don't know, Tootsie Roll nowadays have gotten gluten-free mode, meaning there is hardly any nuts in their products, making them gluten-free. But that's not all. They also made Tootsie Fudge with Tootsie Fudge coconuts and Tootsie Caramel. And you know, they were tiny little cubes of fudge, like many people would eat. Believe it or not, Tootsie Roll actually had their own vitamin milk back then. If you guys don't know what vitamin milk is, it's the quote-unquote healthy chocolate milk that gives you vitamins. Which, you know, obviously Tootsie Roll decided to, you know, make vitamin milk for their system, and it tasted like Tootsie Roll, but as, you know, chocolate milk. There are several promos of it in magazines. But that was a lot of strange Tootsie Roll products. But what I want to say is, what is Tootsie Roll frosting? Also, by the time I'm making this video, thank you for 200 subscribers. This means a lot to me, and I hope I can make more content in the future, despite the content getting more and more difficult. But doesn't matter. Thank you for 200 subscribers. It means a lot.